Today we're going to go over how to add a trainer and set their availability and then create a class. First step is we're going to go to staff. We're going to create a new user. On the role, you can set this to set sort of default actions or availability they may have. By default, managers have access to everything, whereas staff have very limited access. Accountant has access to financial records and the likes. On here, we went ahead and created him. I'm going to go back. Here we can set the permissions too if we want more granular control over what they have access to see. We can also set them up whether or not they have shifts if you're using the manage shifts application. What we want for today here is to set this option right here, which is trainer / available for classes. Once that's in place, they will now show up on trainer availability. And from here, we can set their availability. And so let's just say that they work Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let me set that. Now the last step here is we'll go ahead and create a class. For our image, we'll just go ahead and use a little screenshot here. We'll set our price. If you want to offer a first-time use code, this will make the first class free. So you can leave that blank, and they're going to have to pay full price. We'll set our start date. Let's say that it's starting today, and we're going to go available until, and we can leave this blank. If this was going to be like a limited availability, we could set that end date to, let's just say we wanted it at the end of the year. We could do that. Here, I'm going to say when the start and the end time for the class is, and the available dates. If we want to make sure that they register the day before or 2 days before to give our trainer ample time, we can set that here. If we wanted to have any special class dates, so for instance, let's say typically you wanted it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but there was a specific Saturday in the future that you wanted to offer, we could throw that in there here for special dates. We're going to go ahead and assign that to Bob Tester. You do not have to have a trainer associated with the class for it to show up on the calendar. However, if you set the trainer on the class, anytime someone books, it's going to, Bob here or whoever you have set is going to get an email. Additionally, the class will show up as unavailable if the trainer doesn't have corresponding availability. One thing that we want to make sure that we're paying attention to is whether or not this is a fixed schedule class, which is up here. And so a fixed schedule class would be something like, let's just say that you wanted to have a yoga class or like a special group class that you knew was going to be offered Wednesday from 5 to 7. Or from 5 to 6, or 3 to 8, right? So anytime that there's going to be a block of time, and if you sign up for that class, you're going to be there for that entire block of time, that's a fixed schedule class. And this is what is defaulted to on. And so that means that whatever you have set here, that's going to be how long the class is. If you uncheck this will make it a non-fixed schedule class, which means that this is a class that's available from the start time to the end time, and then you can set whatever session duration you want. So let's just say this is a 1-hour private training session. We would set the class or the session duration to 60 minutes. If we wanted 2 hours, it'd be 120, and so on and so forth. And so what this will do is this will set it up in such a way that you can book, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. And that, that is going to take into account the trainer availability and whether or not somebody else has booked that class. You can also set the membership levels. This is always a requirement. People will not be able to book unless you set the membership level here. If you want it available to everybody, you can just hit select all, and it'll go ahead and send out to all of your membership levels. If you want to allow discounts to various membership levels, you can do that here by clicking the add membership discount. And then from there, you can set what the membership level is and what % discount they may get. If you want additional notifications to go out, you can enter those here. The set trainer will already get a notification, but let's just say if they had an assistant or something like that, you can put their email here. If you want to hide the calendar or hide the class from the public calendar, you can do that by checking this. And what that's going to do is the class is still going to be active and you can book it, but it's not going to show up on the calendar. And that's good for situations where, let's just say you wanted to coordinate with the member ahead of time. If you wanted to set a particular schedule, and that way you still give them the flexibility of choosing their own time. However, let's say for instance, it's personal training and you always wanted to make sure that you had an initial session with that individual to kind of see what would be the best fit, or like a special onboarding session. You could hide this from the calendar, and then the individuals who you've already onboarded, you can give them the link, and then they can come in, again and set their, choose what days they want to schedule. So once that's in place, we can look at it from the members end. We come here and go, and so now that it's not hidden from the calendar, we can see, train with Bob, right? So when you come here, book, we got our picture, registration window has closed. And so that is because we did the 2-day period in there. Let's say that we wanted to do next week. Here, then it lets us choose our time slot, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, right? And then we can choose the number of tickets, which is going to be, since we set this up so that it is a maximum of 2 participants, we can get up to 2. And then we can either bill our card on file or enter our payment information. On here too, once a class is booked, it's no longer available. If we come in here though as well on our trainer availability and edit him, let's just say that he was going to be on vacation, just say from the 27th, and we can say multiple days to the 5th, and say vacation. We can save that, and then when we come back and view this as a member, go back to calendar. Now these days are all silvered out. So if we try to book, well, here it lets us know registration deadline. Closes on. Time slots. It says 0 available, right? So there are no bookings that are available for us here. And so we have to go past to see, here when he goes back to his availability, book, and then we can see, we can start booking there again. If you have already made arrangements, and let's say, they've paid elsewhere, or in another video we can show how to create a one-off invoice. If we want to look and go to our Train with Bob class, the select time slots available, this is going to populate if we have bookings. So like right now there's no bookings, so there's nothing to show. Let's just say that we choose one of our members and we've spoken with them and they want to book with us for December the 8th at 10 a.m. We can go ahead and add them as a manual time entry. And so then that way, when we come back, and we go train with Bob, and so then that way, you know, if we come back, we go train with Bob, time slot, we see that we have Cheyenne here, and she has booked, right? From 10 to 11 on December the 8th. And if we go and we view this as a normal user, go to December the 8th book. 10 to 11 shows we just have one more that's available, right? And again, that's because we set this to have 2 available. If, for instance, you know, this genuinely is a private training session, the way I have this set up, it's more like a small group. If we come back here, we can edit the max participants to 1. And then when we come back over here and refresh, we see that from 10 to 11, there's 0 available. So we can't book that. So that's a brief introduction to how to set up classes with personal trainers. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you are thinking about switching to managed memberships, feel free to use the link in the description to schedule a booking time. Thank you.